kind of decade was it? Well, sitcoms and dramas were replaced with reality programming, while a desperate Hollywood turned to any and all sources of inspiration it could find. Yep, that's the kind of decade it was in entertainment. In 2000, the millennium began with a sweeping change of the TV landscape with the launch of Survivor. This quickly began an industry-wide reality craze that prioritized cheap, unscripted programming above plot or production values. That same year, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon flew into theaters to become the highest-grossing foreign-language film in American history. At the same point, Marvel Studios released X-Men, a success that would cause other superheroes like Spider-Man to quickly swing into cinemas. In 2001, movie studios realized that fantasy novels garnered a huge following. As a result, the film versions of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings went head-to-head with J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, while Shrek spoofed fairy tales and collected animation's first Oscar for Best Animated Feature. 2002 saw Hollywood finally break the mold by awarding African-American actors in the Best Actor and Best Actress categories.
Thank you, thank you, thank you!
Meanwhile, American Idol premiered to the delight of the country's worst singers, who got to screech in Simon's face, as well as provide a launching pad for the truly talented, such as Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood. In 2003, we saw Disney flip a 5-minute ride into a 3-movie franchise while Martha Stewart decorated a prison cell. It was also the year we lost a neighbor. 2004 gave us Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 9/11, a failed attempt to block President Bush from being re-elected. This coincided with the popularization of a new film category called torture porn, as seen in Saw and Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. The world lost a hero this year when the man known as Superman passed away, as did the man who portrayed his father. Marlon Brando passed away in July. In 2005, a new dawn for entertainment began with the YouTube explosion, which made celebrities out of ordinary people. Well, sort of ordinary people. That same year, the nation mourned the passing of comedians Richard Pryor and Johnny Carson, while Steve Carell redefined outrageous adult comedy with The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Meanwhile, The Colbert Report invaded late-night television, and moviegoers were spared as those dreadful Star Wars prequels finally came to an end with Revenge of the Sith. 2006 was the year that gay cowboys rode into the sunset in Brokeback Mountain, and Borat showed us how gullible and racist we all really are. Perhaps most shocking of all was not the fact the crocodile hunter Steve Irwin was killed, it's that he was killed by a stingray and not a crocodile. The inconvenient truth? Former Vice Pres and Democratic nominee Al Gore lost the election, but won an Oscar. Bond went blonde, and Balboa came back for round 6. In 2007, Paramount and Hasbro transformed a toy line into big money with Transformers. It was a dark year for television as the Writers Guild of America went on strike, which meant no new TV, and the seasons of existing shows were cut short. This was also the year Anna Nicole Smith ended her reign as the tabloid queen when she passed away from an accidental overdose in February. In 2008, darker superhero movies finally became popular with The Dark Knight, a movie that benefited from the stellar performance of the late Heath Ledger.
It's simple. Kill the Batman.
In the realm of TV, Sex and the City got a movie adaptation that lured tons of women and their poor boyfriends to movie theaters. Meanwhile, reality programming became legit when 3 Emmy Award categories were created to honor the genre, and the Blu-ray high-definition disc finally won its 2-year struggle with HD DVD to become the next-gen video format of choice. 2009 was the year of celebrity deaths. Ed McMahon, Walter Cronkite, David Carradine. Even Charlie's Angel Farrah Fawcett died, though no one noticed as Michael Jackson passed away the same day. In the movie world, however, sci-fi took center stage as Star Trek was given a new lease on life with the help of a younger cast. The decade finally came to a close with James Cameron's Avatar, the most expensive and visually impressive film ever to combine live action, CGI, and 3D experience. What kind of decade was it? Well, a back and forth in popularity between pop, rock, and hip-hop defined the first 10 years of the millennium. Yep, that's the kind of decade it was in music. The 1990s ended with everyone in a party mood. Teen pop acts like Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, and NSYNC were at the top of the charts at the beginning of the millennium. Starting off the decade with a bang, rap metal band Rage Against the Machine caused the New York Stock Exchange to close during the filming of their music video, Sleep Now in the Fire, in January 2000. A resurgence in hard rock began that year as well, with acts such as Linkin Park and eventually Nickelback gaining widespread mainstream acceptance.
Been wrong.
In terms of hip-hop, rapper Jay-Z also started seeing more mainstream success at the turn of the millennium. Eminem also continued his success in this decade, eventually becoming the biggest hip-hop act of the 2000s. October 2001 was the release of what would ultimately be Michael Jackson's final album, Invincible. And some sad news, the quiet Beatle, George Harrison, passed away from lung cancer on November 29, 2001. The debut album from New York garage rock band The Strokes, Is This It?, also came in 2001. The group of the year for 2001 was Destiny's Child.
Don't feel me, baby.
By late 2002, Justin Timberlake of NSYNC fame had his own debut solo album, Justified. Teen pop rock exploded in 2002 when Avril Lavigne burst onto the scene with her debut single, Complicated. This was also the year emo music broke into the mainstream with the help of bands like Jimmy Eat World and Dashboard Confessional. Jack White and the White Stripes continued to nurture the garage band genre and were one of 2002's most acclaimed bands. In 2003, Madonna symbolically passed the torch to pop princesses Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera when she kissed them during a performance at the MTV Video Music Awards. The Black Eyed Peas are another definitive act of the 2000s, and they had their first huge hit in 2003 with Where's the Love. 2004 was the year of the wardrobe malfunction. As early as 2004, the synth pop and/or post-punk revival started laying its roots. Bands like The Killers, Franz Ferdinand, Block Party, and the Arctic Monkeys were some of the key players in these genres, being influenced by the 1980s and such acts as The Cure. Pop-punk regained momentum in 2005, with acts like the All-American Rejects and Fall Out Boy emerging to great popularity. On the other hand, hip-hop music was on the wane in 2005, though it was quickly revitalized by such acts as Kanye West. 2005 was also the year Destiny's Child officially broke up. This cleared the way for Beyoncé to become an R&B icon, eventually selling over 20 million solo records. 2006 and 2007 saw the rise of children's-themed music, which included acts like the Jonas Brothers, Hannah Montana, and High School Musical. Britney Spears had been on a downward spiral for years, but 2007 was the year of her attempted comeback with the album Blackout.
It's Britney, bitch.
2008 was the year of the Rickroll. After a 15-year wait, Guns N' Roses finally released their sixth studio album, Chinese Democracy, in 2008. The year in rock was not complete without AC/DC's first album in 9 years, Black Ice. Coldplay became a force to be reckoned with in 2008 with their fourth album, Viva La Vida or Death and All His Friends.
People couldn't believe what I've become.
2008 also saw the release of Lady Gaga's first album, which spawned such hits as Just Dance, Poker Face, and Paparazzi. While hip-hop artist Lil Wayne had achieved moderate mainstream success earlier in the decade, it was the 2008 release of his album The Carter 3 that won him a Grammy Award for Best Rap Album of the Year. 2008-2009 also saw the popularization of auto-tune, a vocal distortion technique.
That sounds cool. It's amazing.
2009 was not without controversy. Kanye West also made news when he ambushed Taylor Swift on stage at the MTV Video Music Awards.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
Also in 2009, an American Idol runner-up, Adam Lambert, made headlines when the openly gay star kissed a male keyboardist on stage at the American Music Awards. The biggest news story in 2009 was without a doubt Michael Jackson. In March, he announced a 50-show tour at London's O2 Arena that would have marked his comeback. But on June 25th, the King of Pop passed away at the age of 50. Fashion in the first decade of the millennium can only be described as ever-changing. It also saw a revival of past trends. Kaleidoscope seems like the most appropriate word to illustrate it. Yep, that's the kind of decade it was in the fashion world. The new millennium started out with a continuation of the relationship between the music and fashion worlds. Rapper labels such as Jay-Z's Rockaware and Eminem's Shady Limited brought original style from the streets to the runways and finally to the mainstream. In 2001, skinny jeans became the denim of choice for both men and women thanks to the numerous paparazzi shots of Scarlett Johansson and Kate Moss wearing this cut. In 2002, the fashion world was inspired by another trendsetter, Sienna Miller, who popularized the boho look. Bohemian style allowed women the freedom to layer fabrics, mix prints, and accessorize fearlessly. Designers like Marc by Marc Jacobs, Missoni, and Chloe took these looks to the runway. Fashion pioneers Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie, and the Olsen twins popularized designer sunglasses in 2003. Oversized vintage shades, aviators, and Ray-Bans are seen everywhere. In 2004, we saw Uggs, leggings, and yellow rubber Livestrong bracelets on everyone, especially sorority girls. Dove's campaign for real beauty elevated the importance of women's self-esteem and brought marketing in the fashion world under scrutiny. 2005 saw high-end designer Stella McCartney collaborate with Swedish fashion house H&M. The collection flew off the shelves. In 2006, sneaker companies re-released the shoes we used to love. Retro sneakers were on everyone's feet. Crocs also burst onto the scene this year, much to the dismay of fashionistas everywhere. The TV show Gossip Girl's sense of style had a huge impact on retail in 2007. Private school preppy was officially in. Looks such as crested blazers, khaki slacks, pleated skirts, and of course headbands were all a must-have. Ballet flats were back for footwear, and Kanye had us all feeling like 80s rock stars with his revival of shutter shades. In 2008, the fashion world mourned the death of designer Yves Saint Laurent, who was considered one of the 20th century's greatest figures in French fashion. First lady fashion became popular thanks to Michelle Obama's bright colors and prints. She also proved it's okay to show off your arms. In 2009, high-end labels created more affordable lines, like Poppy by Coach. The recession had people shopping for deals and bragging about how much they saved rather than how much they spent. This decade in fashion proved that trends may come and go, but they continue to shape our style.